I started tracking abandoned boats through the West Ashley Greenway in Charleston, South Carolina. It is a 10.5-mile bike trail that runs parallel to Highway 17. The West Ashley Greenway was once part of the historic Charleston to Savannah Railroad, a piece of the Atlantic Coastline Railroad. Due to its strategic location between the southern port cities of Charleston and Savannah, it was a major Union target during the Civil War and fell into disrepair. This was an old derelict railroad that no longer had value to society. After the Civil War, it was rebuilt and passed through several rail companies before ultimately being abandoned in the 1980s. Society no longer needed this rail line, and it sat dormant for many years until ultimately being converted into a rail trail. Turning rails to trails turned the blighted, overgrown corridors into a community asset. Rail corridors are long, narrow strips of land, usually between 50 and 100 feet wide. In the 19th and early 20th century, waterfronts were major industrial and commercial centers. A lot of train tracks end at the water. That's where the ships are. That brings us to here, the Stono River Park. This is where I saw my first abandoned boat. And ultimately, this is where I met the Stono 7. It was summer of 2020 when I first saw the Rebellion. The Rebellion is a 30-foot long white sailboat with blue accents. Summer turned to fall, the Rebellion still hadn't moved. It had been there for months. In the state of South Carolina, any vessel that has been identified by the Department of Natural Resources as abandoned for at least 90 days may be claimed by any person or entity as abandoned property. We're getting a free boat. This boat hasn't moved in months.
I mean, Craigslist before it got creepy was, here's your free boat, come and get it. And the problem is that sounds great, but it's gonna be in bad shape. Nobody just gives away a boat.
In December, a friend and I decided to get a closer look, and we kayaked out to it. We left on December 12th. It had been 159 days since I had first seen the Rebellion and since it had moved, so I thought this was abandoned. Easy peasy. Ultimately, when we got there, we had seen electronics in the boat. There was a bilge switch. Basically, everything that tells you this is not an abandoned boat. You can't have it. Honestly, I dodged a bullet. Cut to April 14th, 2021. The Rebellion is still there, but two new boats show up. The Dragonfly, which is another sailboat, and the Bull 3, which was an older sport fisher that looked rough. July 21st, 2021, another sailboat shows up. It didn't have a name. I've been calling it Teal. October 13th, 2021, Bull and Teal are underwater at this point. Short tenure. April 10th, 2022, Bull and Teal are gone, and in a surprise twist, the Rebellion is gone too. That only leaves the Dragonfly. July 21st, 2022. A new boat arrives. It's an old houseboat. The Rebellion is back, and it looks worse. October 21st, 2022. A new boat arrives, a junky red sailboat. December 12th, 2022. Another new sailboat arrives. This is the Blue Pearl. And the Rebellion is on her side. February 25th, 2023. The Rebellion is back up, but the hatch is open to the elements. When a sailboat is open like that, and it is trashed. April 1st, 2023, the Rebellion is down. February 14th, 2024, Dragonfly goes down too. May 17th, 2024, Red got pulled up on shore to get destroyed, and it turns out Housey wasn't gone. Housey just floated a mile down the river. We'll get to that later. September 1st, 2024, Blue Pearl is halfway down. September 8th, 2024, Blue Pearl is all the way down. January 30th, 2025, Rebellion, Blue Pearl, and Dragonfly are all underwater with no real plan to pull them out and no real funding to do so. these boats are going to sit here and rot in our waterways. Later in this series, we will go over in detail the different government agencies working on this issue. We'll look at it from a federal, state, and local level. We're going to talk to liveaboards.
I've gone through all the hurricanes just there on my boat, and it feels like you're in a washing machine.
I heard bam, 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 bam. And I looked out my companionway to the other side of the seaway, and that sailboat had drug anchor and grabbed it.
Lawmakers.
I actually then wrote a state law that we passed. It was my very first bill that I passed when I was in Columbia.
They amended that to say that any municipality or local government can enact an anchoring and mooring permit. So we jumped on that.
And experts in the industry.
I've been a marine professional, at least in the industry, for the entirety of my career at this point in time.
We get calls for abandoned boats all the time. We have our own reporting system in-house.
Ultimately, we're going to find out how are these boats getting pulled out.
Every boat we do is a little different challenge.
And who is paying for it.
They originally asked us to remove 8 derelict boats, and they paid for the excavator and the dumpsters and stuff.
There's no state funding in the budget whatsoever in South Carolina.
So, what about Housey?
The houseboat that you're asking about was a boat that originally showed up, to my knowledge, down in the area of Saul Legree in the Stono River, which is down James Island, going towards Kewell. Boat was down there for a while. Owner sold it. The boat made its way up the Stono, had somebody living on it. My first real encounter with the owner was when it was tied on to the Limehouse Bridge. So we went out there and spoke to him that he had to get it off of there. He did. He re-anchored it. This was prior to the permit requirement. Found the owner had just kind of left it and disappeared. We later found out that the owner was deceased. It was outside the city jurisdiction, so none of this was my investigation, but assisted the other agencies with it. The state had to go after, essentially probate, find out who in the family was responsible for his assets at that point and affairs, and then go after for then the removal of that boat, which I believe Wounded Nature took care of.
But today, this is boat number 199, so we're almost at 200.
Almost at 200. And then
Yeah.
200 is going to be the houseboat?
The houseboat is what I've been told.
Oh.
Yeah.
If this story has a protagonist, it's Rudy Socha.
Rudy, my name's Rudy Socha. I'm the CEO and founder of Wounded Nature Working Veterans. We're a 501c3 nonprofit. We work every day, every week, and every month getting large debris items out of the coastal wetlands. We've spent a lot of time working on abandoned and derelict boats.
Shoes in the water, yeah.
Now you're wet, so it doesn't matter.
I know it.
From this point forward.
I like to think of him as Batman for coastal cleanup. Rudy is a stopgap in situations where government agencies fall short or lack jurisdiction.
Big pile, and they came over and sighted at us. Yeah, for a debris pile.
That sounds about right, Beaver.
Yeah, we got 7 boats now.
Wounded Nature has a network of volunteers and professionals who help get the job done.
Yeah, so my name is Whit Jones with Wounded Nature Working Veterans. Been with the organization for about 4.5 years now. Started in 2019 as a volunteer.
On a WIT project, everything is going smoothly.
A vessel that's partially submerged or any vessel that we can't get a good look at, we're going to do a more extensive survey. Even if it's way up in the marsh, we're going to have to traipse out there to get to it and take a look at. Oh, this is just muddy, but not too soft. All right. Yeah. We're looking for holes in the hull. We're looking to see if we can determine if the rudder and prop shafts on a sailboat are intact, because that's a primary place for taking in water.
and not full of water.
It's got water in it, but it's not full.
Yeah, it's not like overflowing with water like a lot of them, or 6 feet under.
I expected to find some more. There's a blue crab in the back. Crawling inside, I'm gonna put grape foam in the rest of that hole down below. Hey Rudy, look here. See that wooden hole right there? That wooden, that's the covering that same window that's on the other side.
Oh, okay. Who did this?
I don't know, it's old. Right? It's old. No moisture. But interesting, I just noticed that.
If you got spray foam, we got 3 holes over here. I don't know if they take, it's above the water line though.
Yeah. Man, I got three little rocks in my shoe.
Yeah, I just found out these shoes are not good for the marsh.
Some of the techniques we use, right, if it's a small hole, little things like toilet bowl, wax rings. But I got the wood and the screws and the time, so I'm gonna board it up.
Good move.
Great foam's not bad. It doesn't work really well underwater. Any of that Flex Seal tape doesn't work when it's wet, even though the commercial tells you it does. Because I've tried it. Plywood and screws, whatever it takes to plug up the holes.
Wait a minute.
Chris is the man. Every successful shoot I've been on, Chris has been a part of it. He brings his own boat. He doesn't ask for anything. He keeps his mouth shut and he just gets to work. He gets dirty. He gets dirt on their fingernails, I can tell you that.
Mardi Gras. And see any women go by, start throwing beads at them.
Here, and only had about that much room for my head to work. And no flashlight, it was dark. I was like, this is not the best day at work I've ever had. All right. Oh man. So there's the underside bow. You had the lavatore. Gnarly. So this right here, that's a freshwater tank. It's got about a quarter way full of water. Here's the window that we patched. I just showed you from the outside. And that little white, I don't know how much you can see if it's too dark. I can see all of it. Okay, so that little kind of opaque rectangle back there, that's a little flap that goes back to the next compartment. You got a little water in it, but it's not bad. Thursday I was in here and the water was about at camera height. I was only able to fuel that window with my hands. Most every vessel we deal with has a motor. It's got a fuel tank. They almost always have an onboard lavatory system with a holding tank for human waste. You've got the batteries, the oils, the fuels. There's a lot more foam than people realize in these vessels, whether it's in some of the flotation parts of it or cushions and things like that with closed cell foam. It used to be more down when it was, when I saw it on the Stono, it was down by Solagri ramp. I can't remember if it had motors or not, and it was listing like had water in it. And then it just left there and came up here by Limehouse and floated around for a long time. Finally got beached up here. I don't know if it was stripped out prior and vandalized prior. Probably. I mean, this thing's in terrible shape. It's been like this for a long time. This doesn't happen in a year. This is multiple years.
Inside the houseboat, we found syringes, broken glass, all kinds of trash. If these were on land, they would be condemned.
I didn't see the needles.
Oh, it's right there. Okay. If there's one, there's more.
Yeah.
I just know they're technically they're insulin needles that you can go buy at Walmart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's funny for me is every one of them smells the exact same. And it's crazy. They all have the same smell. But you go in there and it's cushions, waterlogged cushions.
In here?
It's 2-cycle oil, it's and they stuff all this in the cubbies, right? And so when these boats sink and this stuff gets jostled around because it's in a boat, it all comes out. That's it.
Somebody was living in here. What? Yeah. So I'm back here at the back. I'm looking for fuel or fuel tank or any kind of access. Got a lot of floorboards. I don't really know where the tank might be. I bet it was back here. It's empty though. I mean, it's gone.
So like if a boat goes down in the water and fuel, oil, batteries, all that stuff's gonna leach out. Like regardless of how well you think it's sealed, it's gonna leach out. And that just pollutes the waterways even more, than they are. And that's one of the biggest concerns is when you go to dispose of a boat, what do you do with all that? You gotta pump it all out from the tanks, but then you also gotta clear the engines, you gotta do a bunch of stuff. So environmentally, it's not good.
Vessels weren't really, they're designed to be underway, right? They're designed to sail or power. They aren't really designed to be towed. So oftentimes we have to look to make sure we have good attachment points for tow lines and haul outs. And if the boat is really, really old and the fiberglass and decking is decayed, we've ripped numerous cleats and attachment points off of boats trying to get them off the marsh. So a survey, looking for holes, etc. We kind of come up with a plan at that point to patch and repair, because what we want is to be able to float the boat and tow it to its haul location. If not, we're talking a whole different cost level of bringing in, per se, a small barge to put the boat on the barge, and that's at a whole different cost. I've got the hose already in there. Dug out as low as I could.
I got a rope tied on here.
All right. We're gonna get the pump running and see what we get out. And Chris, see the rusty exhaust? Mm-hmm. Right behind it is a black plug.
Oh yeah.
That's where the water goes in. So I'll go down and get the water.
Okay, we'll start it and then pour the water in it.
Pour the water in.
Pour the water in and then start it.
Pour the water in. We'll have to do multiple pours. You want to try to fill that reservoir. It's priming it, right?
Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah, right. Making the deck dirty, Chris.
Is it rinsing my boots?
The dirty water and sediment, this is a dirty job. I mean, and these dudes roll up their sleeves and get it done. I have the utmost respect for these people.
This one primed up good once I got some water in it the other day. And I only had about a liter of water put in it, or less. So.
You got a choke? Yep.
Let's not start it yet. Let's get the exhaust hose. Yeah.
It'd be easier for me to go out there with the excavator and rip that thing out, because this is my backyard. To me, the aluminum boats, minus a little bit of foam in there, don't pose them as much of a problem, right? They're sinking steel and aluminum and all kinds of stuff like that for offshore reefs. Okay, I get it. Fiberglass? No, we can't just leave that in the water, leaching this into the waterways that your kids are playing in, right? It's crazy. So clean it up.
We have a concrete boat that sank a while back. That's going to cause different issues than a fiberglass boat or a steel boat or aluminum boat. Fiberglass, over time, people think, oh, good sturdy fiberglass boat. Yes, they're sturdy when on land. Yes, they're sturdy when floating potentially. But once they sink, the volume of water, the force of water, especially with our tidal swing, breaks apart fiberglass hulls in a very short amount of time. Some of the biggest problem that we see is the fiberglass stranding. So once this fiberglass breaks apart, those fine fiberglass strands, like you might be used to, if you ever hang insulation and you get those fiberglass strands in your skin, it is brutal. Well, the problem is these fiberglass strands then enter the waterways and they become food for fish. They end up in our dolphin populations and our fish populations. They end up in our shellfish populations. So that is really, to me, the biggest ecological problem we have when a fiberglass boat sinks. And that's also the same reason why you can't do what everybody says and just make it an artificial reef. Just go tow it out and sink it out there by the reefs. You cannot do that with fiberglass, especially when the whole point of the reef is to assist our fish population.
We'll see if any more
builds up.
This is the
Lowest.
There's a bit of a
Bulkhead.
bulkhead in the between the different parts, front and back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna look in the back.
Is this shovel right up there?
Yes, it is.
Why don't you put it down and I'll put some of the mud out of here.
Sir, I can.
Just toss it over.
Go down and squirt that hole around.
There's a right down in there.
Water draining back through.
Water coming back through.
Yeah. It's what you're seeing. It's not a lot of water. It'll go with that amount of water if we can keep the bulk of it out.
Hey, there's a look right here. There's a through hole.
Okay. Well, you got this vent. Yeah. We need to foam that from the end. Jeff.
Oh, it's hard, waterproof.
Okay, I'll hold it. Our 2 boats, I think we could probably move it.
Oh yeah, we can move this.
You know.
As long as the wind doesn't pick up.
Yeah. 10 to 15 is the forecast for today.
I just heard 20 on the radio.
Yeah.
But that's afternoon with the thunderstorms.
Yeah. I'm gonna be sunning on the rear deck. Would you bring me a pina colada?
What you want to do is take it like this, and then just point it. And then the fender will follow, and then all the stroke will follow.
It's about 3 or 4 feet out here. Until you get out but next to that sandbar, then it gets real shallow again. So that's the deepest direction right there.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying if we wrap our rope around in the water this way along the edge, then we can just pull out that way.
But from the front?
Yeah, we're already tied onto the front.
So what did y'all decide to do? You want to hook back here?
There's a tie down hook. We're gonna hook to it. And now Rudy wants to try and pull it.
Okay. Rudy's pulling that way, so. This thing's way too heavy for these 2 small boats. And we don't have enough water yet. I try to tell these guys that we need to wait a little bit longer. It's got to rock. It's got to be light. Spin it a little bit. Feel it? Get ready to jump off. Get ready to jump off. Jump off. All right. Jumped off. Go right. Fly camcorder. Don't sink. Don't sink. Now we need to go back to the spot we get picked up. No! Not yet.
No,
It's rocking.
that's all the oysters.
It's just leaning to the side. No, it's not sinking.
I'm gonna come pick you guys up.
All right, you got Rudy's line out.
Quick!
Stop! Stop!
I got it!
Okay, never mind. I think you saw it. Wounded Nature can tow, right? We're tow rated, if you will, by the U.S. Coast Guard. You know, there are other, for-profit tow companies, TowBoatUS being the #1 that we work with.
So for Wounded Nature, we do as many tows as we can. Always happy to help because we're out 24/7. So when they need something towed from A to B, that's no problem. Easy. We'll make it happen. We'll get it from the place it's at to the place that's getting hauled out or destroyed very quickly. But when it comes to funding for these ones that are sunk or these ones that are in the marsh, that's a lot tougher because these jobs start to add up. And our general manager starts to add up the job and how much it's going to cost and how many people are involved, sometimes the money's not there. Sometimes you give them this quote and they don't have the money, which I completely understand. This is something that's, you know, an eyesore and, you know, kind of in the marsh. People forget that, you know, yeah, it might be in the water and in the marsh, but this is your marsh. This is your backyard. This is where we play.
The way that we got the houseboat out, ultimately, Rudy pulled donations together from private individuals, was able to raise funds through the private sector to pull out the houseboat. Didn't cost the city or the state a dime.
You got 4 more hours to rise the tide. You got 4 more hours.
I won't let it hit me. Maybe.
Right.
Go to the inside of that?
Just go in, go right.
Go all the way around?
Yeah, just that way you got all this water ahead. Right?
Yeah. Get it moving.
Yeah. You got a lot of room here. See, we can't do this all the way up the river though.
What?
If it just keeps spinning us.
Oh. Well, if it keeps spinning us, we'll just tie it different so it pulls off the center. I think once it gets moving, you know, we're going to be going with the current too.
I hear you, but if the boat is going to keep spinning, no matter what we're doing, we can't keep doing that up the river. We'll hit a dock. We got no control.
Oh yeah, I know. Oh, I won't let it hit anything. I promise you that. I can't pull down the center. You want this rope? Or you want to pull with yours?
I might as well just take that rope.
I'll take this if it does this the whole way.
Yeah, because I'm actually turning right now, so.
Now it's turning back. Just turn it back.
Yeah, but I mean, this boat's turning.
I know, what I'm saying is following you.
Or at least it was. Now it's not turning anymore.
Chris brought his own boat to help tow it and his own truck to help pull it out of the water.
We get it in as far until it hits the ground.
Yeah.
Once it hits the ground, we're good.
Yeah.
It can't sink then.
The plan was to get it on the ramp and use trucks to pull it up on the hard, if we can. If not, we're blocking the ramp until I get it moving.
If this boat can pull it off the beach, I think my truck can pull it up the ramp.
Yeah, we got 3 trucks here.
Turn's going that way. There's only one backup ramp on this on this end.
Go there.
Let that thing drift against the dock.
Yep, don't get in the middle.
Yeah.
And don't go past it because you ain't going to get back to it. And it wants to turn left.
Hang on, we're going to hit the shore. Ready for this for pulling it? Got it? Oh, Rudy's pushing. It's going to hit hard. That thing's going fast.
Holy shit! Oh my God. After the tow, haul out location, which are few and far between. Many places require insurance on the vessel to use the boatyard facilities, which makes it very challenging if the vessel's abandoned. Chains and big trucks.
Chains are all in my truck.
Yep, and drag it. All the cars parked over there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We have to drag it right in the middle by that post up that way. This chain might be too long. You know what? Let me get the trailer lock thing.
That won't work.
All the mud's on this side, all the oyster weight's on this side, as you can see.
It toes just like that. Back then we were doing it by hand with sawzalls and things, and cutting them into small pieces and manually putting them in dumpsters. Over time we've gotten better, more efficient. We use excavators or mini excavators with the thumbs on them and dumpsters. Makes it go a lot faster.
This is a 96-gallon trash can. This is the amount of trash that a single-family home is allocated to throw away per week. If you were to throw this houseboat away, it would take you 91 of these trash cans and 91 weeks of only throwing away nothing else but houseboat for a whole single-family home. This is not a problem that we can expect normal people to solve. This needs a well-funded, commercially available team who extracts these boats. I don't want this fiberglass rotting in the marsh. I don't think anyone wants this fiberglass rotting in the marsh. This is not a problem of science or understanding. This is strictly a problem of resources.
Funding and resources. We could pull this one at any time if we had the money.
Stingray, the biggest stingray I've seen was, oh my God, when we was out there, it come up to the boat and just massive. I mean, bigger than and I drive that F-250 up there, and it was just massive. And I mean, just comes up to the boat, swam up under the boat like it's nothing, just played around a little bit, dove right back down, gone. And you can go out there and the water is just slick. There's no waves, there's no wind, and it's just calm sometimes. It's just beautiful. It's different out there when you go out like that.
Hell yeah.